Well, hello everybody. This is Larry Kirshner. I'm here inside of St. Louis Escape, and today we're gonna walk through the Darkness Haunted House in totality. I mean, we're gonna walk through the whole thing, and this is our Jurassic escape room here at St. Louis Escape, which is next door. They're side by side, and everything that we do, we try to make it extremely detailed. And see, there's a full-size T-Rex up there. There's an animated raptor there, and there's another animated raptor there. Everything we do, we're trying to make them like experiences, right? This is our number one escape room at the moment. It's not actually Haunted Hotel. That's still the old banner. It's actually the Haunted Mansion, which we installed animations in here. And it's really funny to listen to people scream and holler when we trigger them. And people get really scared. And I hear them in the lobby screaming bloody murder. Look at this. There's a dead person sleeping. And that freaks people out as well, because they don't know if that's like an actor. But anyway, today we are going to go through the darkness. We're going to talk about the haunted house, and we're going to be looking today for things that we might want to change for 2025. So let me give you a little backstory here on the darkness. Every year, not every year because we haven't opened the darkness every year, but there's a trade show in St. Louis. It's the Trans World Show, and it's the Haunted Attraction Industries. It's the Haunted Attraction Industries trade show. So it's like 400,000 or 500,000 square feet of haunted house equipment. And so today we're going to walk around and try to figure out some of the things that we want to change or renovate. We're going to talk about a lot of the things that make the darkness tick. Okay. Now, do you see this right here? This is a pretty big air compressor, and this one is a screw drive compressor that actually also has a tank. The tank helps store air and creates more air for the haunted house. Now, this actually is just for the escape room because we have so many animatronics in the escape room. But we have this valve right here that can open up and add air to the upstairs of the darkness. But let's do this. We're going behind the screams here, folks, at the darkness. Now we're going to start on the first floor. Now to do that, I'm going to get all the way to the beginning, and we're going to talk about things we might want to change, things we might, some of the cool features here at the darkness, so people can understand just how complex this haunted house really is. And here we are. Now, we're in the darkness building, and people may not know this, but we have an office up here. Very seldom used. And we also have an elevator. See it right there. Okay. So the darkness is a 2-floor haunted house. I am technically on the first floor. But we're going to start on the second floor, and we're going to look at the darkness, and we're going to just talk about the differences between, not only between the first floor and the second floor, but exactly how the haunted house is themed. Believe it or not, that right there, this was a collectible that I should have never put in the haunted house. It is a replica of the werewolf from Werewolf in London. American Werewolf in London. That is an exact replica of the famous scene where he changes into a werewolf. I bought it not thinking and used it as a prop, and it's been in here and it's pretty much ruined, but it is what it is. And then you can see right here there's a vampire, but the upstairs is like more of a haunted mansion. And so the way the haunted house starts and begins is that you kind of sort of go through somewhat of a small graveyard to get to the haunted mansion. And I would say very much like the movie Trick or Treat. And you can see right away, there's an animation with all these zombies that come out. Okay. And look at this. Here's another animation where the coffin comes slamming at you, and it's actually very scary. And you know what else is cool about this room right here? This whole floor right here moves. And there was a show called Modern Marvels, and The Darkness, they featured this exact scene on Modern Marvels. So this exact scene right here has been in this haunted house for, I don't know, 15 plus years. And what we decided to do a few years ago was renovate it, and we changed it more into like a Trick or Treat, the movie Trick or Treat theme, where it has pumpkins, and you see there's a guy hiding under a sheet, and yeah, and it's more pumpkin based, and it has really cool lights and all the pumpkins, and these pumpkins up in the ceiling light up, but the whole floor like tilts back and forth, back and forth. It's actually a really cool scene. And I'll never be able to do a video, by the way, without my phone ringing. And there it is, it's ringing. And the scene also features CGIs. There's a CGI there. There's another one over there. And it kind of shows a swampy area around what we have always called the swamp house. Now, one of the key features of what we try to do here at The Darkness is we try to create pathways for the guests to go through the haunted house by using natural obstacles, natural props. And as you can see, there's no rails of any kind. You just see natural props. And by the way, this video is going to be in two parts. There's going to be one for the upstairs, one for the downstairs. And so this is going to be part one. So this is where you kind of are going through kind of a graveyard. Now, St. Louis Escape is on the other side. You see this big tin door? That's so that you could access one side to the other. It's a fire door. It's like if a fire is over there, it doesn't spread into here. And this whole thing is just, absolutely overwhelming with animatronics and props. And the reason why it's so thin is because you have to remember the building is only so wide. So you're going to have some spaces where you're trying to create that maze dynamic that you're going to have some straightaways, and this was a straightaway, so it made sense to make it some sort of graveyard. Now, that is an animatronic. That's an animatronic. And then you have all these pumpkins, and see, you even have fall leaves and everything else. And then look, this is a prop that looks apparently got knocked over, so we'll set him back up. What do you think? And then this is a big animatronic here as well. It's actually one of my favorites. And you're probably wondering, how in the heck did you get that up here? Well, that's a great question. Because a lot of times we have to cut these things in half and get them up here and then kind of reassemble them. Now, what you're going to see right here is called a scare box, okay? So on the other side, the actor can access a hallway in the mansion. But if he comes out on this side, you can see why the foam is all messed up right here, where it's not messed up over there. That's from the actor constantly, putting his hands here and trying to scare people. Now, this is like a big old giant crypt, and it has a CGI of a ghost raising up from the dead. And basically, that is your entry into the haunted house. And then this is just a generic prop of a coffin. But when you look at it, the first thing you think to yourself is, boy, that's a spot for an animatronic. And some people will say, oh, you have too many animatronics, not enough live actors. Well, we have plenty of live actors. But there's nothing wrong with animations. There's nothing wrong with the combination of the two. So this room right here was changed a couple years ago, and it's actually one of my favorites. And this is a big animation from Unit 70. And if we look over here, you can see how it's on a track. Okay? And so we had to build a platform for it to sit on. And you can see that it actually comes down at an angle. It's a big pumpkin. He lights up and he's like laughing. And then you see all these pumpkins and they're all lit up. Now, but here's the scary part. This is what we call a scare box, sort of. See how this actor is able to get to this side and scare people, but he also can turn around, he or she can turn around and scare people over here as well. So this actor is getting two different sections of the haunted house with one actor. So when the darkness, let's say it has 50 actors, it may seem like it has 75. It may seem like it has 80 because of the way that it's designed for the actors to move around through the attraction and get to multiple spots. Same with here. This is what we call an emergency corridor. It'll get you to the back of the darkness quickly. And an actor could also work here. So now you've come up to, like, say, a garage for the house. And look at that. And again, my phone will always ring. And you always know it's my phone because it's a Halloween theme. And you kind of come in the garage. And the first thing you come to is this Ted Bundy's Beetle, because he had a white VW Beetle. And when you press this right here, when it's turned on, it will actually honk at you very loud, and it's very scary, actually. So we're here in the garage, and we see lots of opportunities here, you know, to add something. But the whole idea is just to make the whole garage seem as cluttered as possible. Now, we also consider this and a scare around opportunity for the actor. Let me explain. So do you see what this is right here? The actor can come through here, scare you, chase you all the way through this creepy garage. And there goes my phone again. I'm gonna have to turn this thing off. And then he can kind of chase you to this point right here. Then you know what he does? He darts back, he or she darts back right here. And see, you just wait and catch another group and do it all over again. Chases the customers through here. And that's a scare round because he or she can scare you all the way to this point, and he can do it all over again. And look at this when you come out of here. So we want to have things above you, below you, all around you. And you come out, and then you see that staring down at you. And you've got all these little trick-or-treaters all over the place. And there's CGIs in here of things moving around inside the house. And you've got that animated dog up there. Both of these are animated here, the dogs in the doghouse. And this, I think, was one of the best animations we bought. This is from look at this. It looks like just a bush, and it comes out, and he opens up, and he thrashes around. That's a great scare right there. Absolute great scare. And an actor has an opportunity to hide over here, too, behind these bushes as well. And then don't forget, and let's do this again. See where I'm at? And I'm back to the pumpkin patch. So there's an opportunity here for an actor to work two sides of the room. Now we're in this hallway right here, and there's a lot of stuff going on in here. There's a CGI effect here that scares you. There's these busts like a Disney. There's another CGI that will scare you, and then this is the scare box that leads to the graveyard. And do you see what this is? This is a sound trigger, so they can trigger a loud sound and help them and assist them in scaring you. And then this is a drop picture inside the actual door. And what they're able to do with this door, because it has chains on it, is shake it, and it makes a lot of noise. But you know what? If we look over here, it's the same exact thing. Sound scare there, and it opens up into the bedroom. So an actor is able to scare people in this hallway. So sometimes people in this hallway, they get hit from both sides. Now, This was a really cool animation that we built a long time ago. And it looks like a clevis is broken off of it. We're gonna have to get that fixed. But this wheelchair comes down the staircase and it looks like, you know, he's crashing. And he goes bang, 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 bang all the way down. It's actually really cool. And then you see that there's an animation here that scares you. And then there's another one here that bends and breaks his back and scares you. So there's 1, 2, and 3. 3 things that scare you. Okay, and then you've got like the shining girls up there. And then you'll notice too that we do those ceilings and everything is done all out 100%. All right, as we move on. Now remember you're seeing the haunted house. This is another CGI effect. All of these windows are CGI effects, including here at the end, and they all smash the window, scaring you. And then you come out into the library, and let's check this library out here just for a second. You see the hole, it's for the actor, and it opens. And then you have a sound scare. And then in here you have this hanging guy, and then you have this really scary animation, and you see how we use these props. It's a real trunk, and it keeps the animation and you apart. And then there's actually a CGI scare there and there. And do you know what this is? Another animatronic to scare you. He lifts up off the chair and he kind of goes berserk. So in here alone, and we're not even talking about air cannons here, folks. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Plus you have the actor. And then, do you see what this is? See, the actor can hide here. All right. The actor can hide here, and they have a sound scare as well. Then they also have this button that makes this whole bookcase collapse down on the customers. And then you see what this actor can do? Jump out and scare them. And then you have another animation that flies out of the ceiling. And remember, one of the great things about animatronics is they can do things that actors can't do. Now, this is an exorcist bed. This thrashes all around. And see, we've come back to the scene where we can literally almost get back to the beginning of the darkness. And the actor, so you can see out this hole, and you see the pressure pad. So a lot of things are being triggered in here. This is a Henrietta animation. There's an animation CGI effect of a ghost inside that mirror. You've got this one here. You've got these like demons like crawling all over the walls and all these dolls. And you see the creepy dolls hanging on the walls. It's very creepy. One of the things too you'll notice is these door jam type things. These transits that, like, I've literally, in most cases, these are real from pulled out of old houses. Now, do you see this door? This is a great scare, see, because the actor can hide behind the door. But when you walk up on the door, it just looks like it's the way it should be. It's a door that's open. And then you come up to the bathroom. Now, this is a scene where I think in the off season, we will do something with the bathtub and try to do some kind of scare in the bathtub. This is a new animation we added this year. It actually is very scary. It's like an old hag, and she tries to get you. And you have to walk through all these nasty pairs of underwear. And you see how we've made the walls where you can see through them. So sometimes the actors will jump through the walls and try to scare you. You have an air cannon there. You have a guy on the bathtub. And get this. See, this is also a scare here. See, because I can see through this little slot. And then I can just kind of sort of come out and scare you right here. Now, let's keep going. Now, there's a CGI there and a CGI there. And do you know what this is right here? This is another double scare. This gets me back to the library. Let's see, the door opens. it closes. Another sound scare here. And this leads us to a scene that we redid a couple years ago. And there's a lot of scary stuff going on in here. Number one, you've got this animatronic right here. And she is actually quite scary. So she would go all the way back. Okay, I can't do it with one hand. And then you have all these ghost faces, like, you know, pretty much everywhere, right? And then this guy comes out with the club. And do you see what keeps you from getting hit by it? A couch. A couch. And then we have an actor, obviously disguised. And this, believe it or not, is also an animation. It's a big chair that'll jump up and scare the heck out of you. But there's an actor who disguises himself in here. Now you've come to this creepy, disgusting kitchen where all kinds of gross things are being cooked. And there's even kids in a pot. And yes, even here, there's an animatronic. Here's like a Leatherface type of character. And you can see that he lunges out at you and uses his chainsaw. And then you kind of come over here, which is more of like a freezer pantry. And there's just, you know, gross stuff all over the place. And this is a CGI effect that we've had for many, many years. It's of a girl hanging in a freezer. And then you kind of sort of step into an attic. And you can see there's an animatronic up here. Right there, and see she kind of like flips up and down, scares you. You've got these crawling creatures on the wall. You have CGI effects. And look how creepy that is. Like when you think about the movies, that's just too much. And then this girl right here goes berserk on the bed. And let me show you. Over here, what do you think we have here? You have an actor and they also have one of these sound scares they can activate. And so they let you get a little past them. They come out and they can get you. That is one of the only scare boxes in the entire place where they can only work one room and one room only. Now this is a new room we installed a few years ago, a couple years ago I think. And it's a doll room. It's a little girl's doll room. And we CNC'd all these blocks. We made them all with a CNC machine. Because again, I'm once again trying to explain how we make natural obstacles to keep you going in the direction we want you to go in. And if you didn't notice, these blocks right here spell, they spell a word. K, kill, and then it says right here, mommy, okay? Kill mommy. And in here, you've got like some sort of ghoul, like breathing on the window, and it says something along the lines of kill mommy as well. And then one of the coolest things is this big old TV, and there's all these dolls like staring down at you. It's really, really creepy. And look at this big old doll right here. And that is like a creepy animation as well. She's flailing an axe at you. And this is one of my favorite animations as well. So this is a giant doll killing mommy, as you can see. She's literally killing her. And she moves all over the place. And poor mommy is literally in the crib. It's roles reversed. And one of the cool things that I like that we've done in here is you have to walk through like your parents. They've been killed. They're dangling, as you can see. Isn't that creepy? Now you have to imagine this place with the lights, with the fog, and the environment, the sound. And by the way, that says M-U-R-D-E-R, murder 666. See? Murder 666. All right, we move on. Now you're kind of getting into a different section of the house. You have an animatronic here where he's basically hanging on his guts, and I can actually see that his head fell off. This is another animation, a zombie, but get this. This is the interesting part. See, this opens. So the actor can be like along with that zombie banging and you think you're safe, but no, it opens and they come out. Now this is actually a really scary animation right here. There's a, you're seeing inside of sewer pipes inside the walls, and then you get hit with a big old blast of air and fog. And then you kind of got this service elevator, and you can actually see it go down and fall, and it actually moves and shakes all over the place. And then over there you see the service elevator. You see it going up and down. And then this is an animation as well. It's actually a really cool one. It moves all over the place. And then you have CGIs right here of zombies trying to get out. And then this is what we call a two-way mirror effect. And you see zombies inside the two-way mirror. Now this is one of the new things that we've added to the darkness. You can see there's a fly rig. And if you follow it around, see, it ends up over here. So then there's actually a physical actor flying overhead and scaring you from above. And it's actually really scary. And let's move on here. This is another new scene that we put in a few years ago. This is a really scary cat. And all it does is just jumps up like that and hisses at you. But this is like a big fly trap that when you're walking through will literally envelop you. And then it has, think about all the TV screens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 TVs. And when you look up in the ceiling, it looks like it's raining. It's actually really cool. Let's move on. And this is a really intense room because this is a very similar effect to the one we had before, where you see something happening and it explodes and you get hit with a very high powered air cannon and all these barrels collapse on you, and then you've got this big giant roach. This is actually very scary, the way these animations collapse on you. And then you have an actor that can get, and this is another example of a scare box. He can get to that side, he can get to this side, and he also has an air gun machine gun. And then you come to this scene right here, it's the boiler room, and you've got all these like serial killer type of characters, and they're trying to knock over this gate. And you've got dead people all over the place. You've literally got the ceilings collapsing. And then this is a new animation that we added this year. It's actually one of my favorites. We bought it, and it actually came with swinging open doors, and we changed it to where it literally comes out and it gets into customer's face. It's like a big zombie that wants to take a bite out of you. So it's actually really cool. And then you see there's an animated nun up in the ceiling, and look at that nun right there. And you know what she does? She hides so the actor can come out and scare from behind. This is another nun. All of these crosses light up. You'll notice that there's another animation right here. It's actually really scary. There's a nun hanging on a cross over there. And then here's another area where the actor can jump out and scare you here. They can jump out and scare you over here. Let's just keep moving. There's a big rat up there that'll jump out at you. And let's see, this is one of my favorite scenes in the entire haunted house. And you see how we're trying to make everything seem very, very claustrophobic. Everything's on top of you. And this is one of the scariest rooms in the darkness. And you can see there's just a whole lot going on here. Number one, you've got these, see, this is animated. It's a big old giant Venus flytrap that tries to hit you there. You have the actor hides back here, and you see the big old speaker back here, and the actor actually has a button that they can press. It's right down here. Okay, and it gives them a nice sound scare, and the actor can jump out at you, and you can see beehives, you can see bees up there. They're like all over the place. It's very claustrophobic. This is a big giant plant monster here. And then you have this monster, that big old Venus flytrap that comes out and tries to take a bite out of you. And then look at this. There's a whole front of a truck here. And that's a perfect opportunity for us to do something as well, to put a TV screen in there and make a CGI of maybe somebody getting killed in the front seat of that truck. I think that we'll probably do that. And then you got to have this character, right? If you're going to do a greenhouse. Now, this is a really cool scene that we did a couple years ago. This is, you can see this needs a little bit of repair here. But you see how they can slam that door. And that is really scary for the customer. And you can see a serial killer's been in here doing his handiwork. And you have all these pitchforks hanging in the ceiling, dead bodies hanging in the ceiling. And what's really cool is we put LED lights in all these little cracks. And so all of these like cracks in the walls light up. And this is one of the best scares of all. Do you see this? That actually opens up. And it also is hooked to sound. And it gets a great scare. So again, you see how there's kind of a natural obstacle and you come into the room and you have to work your way around it. And then people want to purposely get away from this pole because all of these razor blades look like, oh man, that's dangerous. That'll cut you. It's just plastic. And then you get kind of to the last section of the upstairs. And this is where we're going to end the video. You've got a sewer section. And one of the things that's cool about this sewer section right off the bat is the floor. It actually collects water, and you see these pipes, they actually have real water in them and they drip down on you. And you see the pipes, you've got to dip under them, okay? And then you got to dip down under them again. You'll see the water in the floor, all right? And you got to go under, but we also have animations like in there, and then we also have animations up here. Now, one of the things I want to do in this sewer section, and we're going to talk about that just a little bit here in a minute, but you'll notice like everywhere you go, you're on grates. This is actually, in my opinion, one of the best animations in here. The water comes out of those pipes, but this animation is really scary. See, it comes out at you, and it's basically all like the Georgie type of characters. And that is a real pipe out of a real sewer system. And then look, we've done the ceiling. But one of the things I want to do in this room, and many others, is lighting effects, like program the lights to do things. That's a two-way mirror to make the tunnel system seem bigger and longer. And with any haunted house, it looks like these bricks are not secured. So we're gonna have to fix that. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so you'll see there's water in here. The water pours out there. And then you've got this, like, you're in the sewer system. And see, the ceiling was done. And this is like a block to go to another section of the tunnel. And the actor hides back here. And then you have this big finale type of animation that we had specifically made for the darkness. And now it's been bought and put into many haunts around the world. Is this big spider clown type of animation where the kid kicks and screams. And so on and so forth. One of the things that we really like doing here at the Darkness as well is we want to hang dead bodies like all over the place. So you have to push through them. Now this here is very interesting. This used to be the original exit of the Darkness. And you would go down these stairs and the end of the haunted house would be at hand. But now we have TerraVisions. This building, you'll notice, is different. See how it's steel beams, steel everything? And when you come over here, it's wood. That's because this building was built on later. It was built on after the fact. So we're gonna skip going through TerraVisions because that's gonna be a different video. Because we wanna turn it on, see the black lights, and so on and so forth. So this TerraVisions, and we're gonna talk about that as soon as I can get the heck out of here. We're gonna talk about TerraVisions here. We're gonna talk about some of the things that we might wanna change for 2025. And we're gonna just talk about that process for a second. But just give me a chance to turn on the lights so I can see you, you can see me. And here we go, lights on. There you go. Now, when you come out the exit of the darkness, you'll notice things have changed. They change every year. This is what we call our chicken board. It's a last second scare. So it makes a lot of loud noises. It makes you like want to grab chalk and write on it, and then it changes because there's a motion sensor right there. You'll notice there's a lot of autographs, a lot of photo ops, along with this one where you can put your head in and take a photo. And there's tons and tons of autographs. Like everywhere you look, there's autographs. There's photo ops everywhere you turn. And then we added this last year. Something for the customers, they can throw the switch, and you see what it says right behind it. It says the Darkness Haunted House, pull the lever, ride the lightning. Follow us on Instagram. And by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, I had this custom made for the darkness. This is darkness. See, and then there is Tim Curry's autograph of a photo of him as that character. Now this is the Ride the Lightning electric chair that you can actually ride it. This is brand new this year. This is the character from Beetlejuice. You've got the Joker. You've got this chainsaw photo op. You have all these characters, autographs. You have some horror themed pinball machines back here. And we just added this little character right here. And that's one of the fun things about the darkness. You can come in here and there's like all these characters, and you see up right here, we just added this guy right here too. That is Mars Attacks. That's from Clash of the Titans. And look at that, all these little characters. There's E.T., there's Annabelle, a replica of Annabelle, a replica of Linda Blair as The Exorcist. And then we have this Raw Thrills game, and so on and so forth. And then we've added this really beautiful Michael Jackson changing from the movie Thriller. And then what's really changed at the darkness over the years is this big, gigantic retail store. And so that's going to wrap up this video. But a couple things that I wanted to mention. That this building has been here, I think, for 16 years. So that means that TerraVisions has been here for 16 or 17 years. So when we're thinking about renovating the darkness, here's a couple of the things that we're thinking about. We're thinking about some of the scenes that look old and beat up, because you can repair them, you can repaint them, but sometimes they're just like, hey, they're dated, they're long gone. So whenever we walk through the upstairs, the first few things that jump out to my mind is just repair some animatronics. There's a couple broken boards here and there, but there's a lot of cool things that we could do in there. For example, we could focus on having sound and lighting effects work together, like lights flickering on and off, and then loud sound going off. That's one thing that we could think about. We could add an animation here or there, but are there any scenes in there that I want to replace? The answer is no. What I would prefer to do is rip out all of TerraVisions and build something completely from scratch. So whenever we renovate the darkness, one of the things we try to focus on is building out a whole entire section. So that means like it might be a series of 2 or 3 scenes to make it blend in a little bit better with what's before or after it, to try to make more sense. So the way that the darkness makes sense is the downstairs is a gothic, like underworld of monsters, and the upstairs is more of like a mansion. And then you get to the clown maze, and again, that's all clowns. And then you have this monster mansion and gift store. So in the future,
maybe this coming year, we would like to rip out TerraVisions completely. We would like to add make the gift store a little bit bigger, because we found that the gift store is almost like an attraction in and of itself, because people like to go in there and see all these cool collectibles that are for sale. So we also would like to make a secret bar experience. So we have a liquor license now, so we could build a horror themed bar where you could have an extra experience here at the Darkness. In order to get the space, we would have to take out the TerraVisions. But when we look at the TerraVisions, we think, hey, maybe we've run its course with this, and so let's replace the haunted experience in there with something totally new. So when we're looking at renovating the upstairs of the Darkness, we're looking at making a lot of repairs. We're looking at maybe adding a couple new CGI effects, maybe a few animations, maybe change a few things here and there. But the big change is going to be 100% to take out TerraVisions, make the retail store a little bit more functional. We just need a little bit more space, and then add a secret bar experience, but then replace TerraVisions 100%. So we hope you liked your tour of the upstairs of the Darkness minus TerraVisions, and our next video is going to be about the downstairs and what we think we could change or upgrade downstairs. Now, when we're talking about the physical Darkness, we're not talking about where TerraVisions is at. We do have a scene down there we want to replace. It's going to be a complete tear out. And when will we start that process? We'll start that process the minute we close. We'll get a dumpster here. We already know what we want to do. We're going to tear out a massive section of the downstairs and rebuild it to be kind of like a Gothic catacomb. And so that's what we want to do downstairs. We think it's going to be really cool. It's going to add another element to the Darkness that doesn't currently exist, which means you're going to be able to walk through part of the Darkness and you'll be able to see people going in the opposite direction. So it'll be a see-through scene. And so that's going to happen downstairs. And when will that process start? It'll start immediately after the Darkness closes on November the 2nd. It's something that we'll start building literally the day we close, and we'll try to have it done by the Krampus event, which is in December. And if we don't have it done by Krampus, it'll for sure be done by Valentine's. Another thing, we've already ordered hundreds of thousands of dollars in props, animations, and everything, and we have to do that because when this Transworld event, if we plan on opening for Transworld, we have to renovate the haunted house in time for that show, which happens at the end of February. So our goal is always to have the Darkness renovated in time for our Valentine's. That means we have to start the minute we close, and we have to have it ready to go in time for the Valentine's event right here at the Darkness. So with that being said, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget the Darkness is open this October, depending on when you're seeing it. We close November the 2nd. We're going to be opening the Darkness for My Bloody Valentine. We're also going to open Lemp for My Bloody Valentine. We're going to do Friday at Lemp, Saturday at Darkness. And then we open for 2 days in December for Krampus. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to open Lemp for a Krampus event on Friday, the Darkness on Saturday. So right now, even though we're in the middle of Halloween, as of recording to this video, I think it's October the 15th, we are in full-blown mode of figuring out how we're going to renovate the haunt, because we, unlike most other haunts, have to renovate immediately upon closing if we want to open for the Transworld event, which is right here in St. Louis every year, where we can give a tour to the haunted house industry. We make big changes. We want those people to come through and be blown away. And hey, and then everyone that sees the haunt in St. Louis gets the same VIP horror treatment. So we hope you come and see the 2024 version. You can get your tickets now at scarefest.fearticket.com, or you can learn more about the Darkness at thedarkness.com. And we will be making a second video downstairs and doing the first floor. And we also are making behind the scenes videos of Creepy World. So until then, from the Darkness horror retail store at the back of the Darkness, where we just got a behind the screams view of the Darkness, take care, happy Halloween, and pleasant screams.